Buckle up, because this time we're diving into something really different. Chronicles of a Schizoid Wolverine by Jorge Alberto Rivas Alborno. This novel, it was published by Libros in Red, and it takes us to this brutal desert landscape.
Okay.
Told through the eyes of Shewong, who, get this, is a Wolverine with a passion for writing.
The writer.
Yeah. He loves to chronicle, he loves to observe.
Interesting.
But here's where things get really wild.
Okay.
The sun starts talking.
The sun starts talking.
The sun starts talking, and not just any sun. This one's got some serious opinions about humanity.
Now, that's a premise you don't see every day.
Right.
What's this chatty sun all about? What's his deal?
He calls himself Sawell.
Sawell.
Sawell. And he's been around for eons, seen it all.
Oh, I bet.
And let's just say he's not exactly impressed with us humans.
Okay.
He spends a good chunk of the story in conversation with Malfam, a rejuvenated eagle.
So we got a talking sun and a rejuvenated eagle.
Oh, we do.
Okay, so Rivas Alborno, definitely not lacking in the imagination department.
Not at all.
And I'm guessing this setting, it's not your typical desert oasis, is it?
No. No oases here. Think harsh, unforgiving.
Okay.
The kind of place where only the toughest and most adaptable creatures can even think about surviving.
Survival of the fittest out there.
Absolutely. And that's exactly who we encounter. Like Lascaux, this ancient vulture, tons of wisdom. Mayan Sissine, a she-wolf, very mysterious. And even a resilient one-legged lizard named Kirby. Everybody's got a story.
I love that.
Each character shaped by this unforgiving environment brings a unique perspective.
It's like the setting itself almost becomes a character.
It does.
Because harshness, it kind of reflects what's going on inside the characters too, maybe.
Exactly. It's like their inner and outer worlds are totally intertwined.
Fascinating.
But going back to this talking sun for a second.
Okay, yeah.
Sawell, he doesn't just chat about the weather.
Right.
He launches into these deep philosophical discussions with Malfam, the eagle.
Really? What kind of things are they talking about?
About humanity, about existence, you name it.
Wow.
It's a lot to take in.
I bet.
And even Shewong, our chronicler friend, he's struggling to understand it all.
Makes sense. He's a Wolverine, right?
Right. Imagine him scribbling furiously on scraps of parchment, trying to grasp the meaning behind Sawell's every word.
So we've got a story within a story here.
We do.
Shewong, he's like both a participant and an observer in this whole thing.
You got it. And trust me, Sawell doesn't hold back. He has some pretty harsh words for humanity, calling us hominids, or rokamon, which basically means foolish in some ancient language.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, he doesn't sugarcoat it.
So what's fueling the cynicism? Why is he so down on humanity?
Well, he sees humanity as driven by ego, trapped in these cycles of self-destruction.
Okay.
Always searching for meaning in a meaningless existence, or so he believes.
Right.
He points to our religions, our wars, our societal structures as evidence of this inherent flaw.
It's interesting that he focuses on the systems, you know? Like the structures we create are the problem.
Right, and you got to remember, he's the sun. He's been watching us for millennia.
That's true. He's seen it all.
Seeing these patterns play out again and again, so from his perspective, maybe we're not so great.
Right. I mean, I can see how he might arrive at that conclusion.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Don't leave me hanging. There's more.
Oh, there's always more. He drops these cryptic sets of coordinates throughout the story.
Coordinates, like on a map.
Exactly. It's like he's leaving breadcrumbs leading to some kind of revelation.
What does Shewong make of these coordinates?
Well, that's where things get even more interesting.
Okay.
I remember Lascaux, the wise old vulture.
Oh, yeah. Full of wisdom.
He becomes instrumental in helping Shewong decipher these coordinates.
A vulture helping a Wolverine, only in this book.
Right. It's full of these unlikely pairings.
I like it.
And this is where the story takes a turn.
Okay, I'm hooked. What happens next? These coordinates, are we talking hidden oasis, lost city of Atlantis? Where do they lead?
Not quite. See, with Lascaux's help, Shewong discovers that these coordinates, they all meet at a very specific point.
Okay.
The point in the ocean, off the coast of Africa, where the 0-degree meridian and the equator, they intersect.
That's incredibly specific, you'd think. If the sun was going to give us hints about the fate of humanity,
right,
he'd pick a spot a little easier to find, right?
You'd think.
Any clues about why this location is so important?
That's the million-dollar question.
Okay.
The novel doesn't really give us concrete answers.
Okay.
But both Lascaux and Shewong, they sense this powerful energy coming from this point.
Really?
Lascaux, with all his ancient wisdom, he believes it holds some kind of cosmic significance.
So we're getting to the heart of it here.
Yeah.
This tension between what we know, what we can prove, and then something bigger.
Right.
Something that maybe we can only just feel, but not fully grasp.
Exactly. And this theme of knowing versus sensing, it's huge in Shewong's journey, too.
Makes sense.
Remember, he's a schizoid Wolverine.
Right.
The world, it doesn't always make sense to him. He's always questioning his own perceptions.
Right.
And Sawell's pronouncements, with all these cryptic clues, they really throw him for a loop.
He's kind of being forced to confront the limits of his own understanding.
Yes.
Not just about the world, but about himself.
Exactly.
That's a lot.
And as Shewong dives deeper into his chronicling, listening to Sawell's dialogues, he uncovers even more about humanity.
Like what? What does he find out?
Well, Sawell, he talks about this concept. He calls it Shinta.
Shinta.
Yeah, it basically means like human logic.
Okay.
The way we try to make sense of the universe.
Okay.
But he sees it as kind of inherently limited.
Limited how?
Like it's a trap.
A trap.
That stops us from seeing these larger truths.
So it's like he's saying our very attempt to understand the universe is actually what's limiting us.
Exactly.
Wow.
And he doesn't stop there.
Okay, there's more.
He criticizes human hypocrisy, especially when it comes to things like war and peace.
Okay, well, he is the son. I'm sure he's seen a few conflicts in his time.
Right, he calls us out on it.
On what?
How we condemn murder, during peacetime.
Right.
But then during war, it's all, justified.
For the greater good.
Exactly, for the greater good.
Right, situational ethics.
Exactly.
What else? What else does he criticize?
Oh, he gets into everything. Our obsession with labels, categories, how we create these artificial distinctions.
It is.
Wealth, status, appearances, you name it.
Right.
And he argues that these distinctions, they become the foundation for discrimination and conflict.
It's like we're creating the problems we're trying to solve.
Exactly.
Does he offer any solutions?
That's the thing about Sawell.
What?
He's not really in the business of offering solutions.
Right.
He's more of an observer.
Okay.
A cosmic commentator, if you will, just highlighting our contradictions, making us question our own assumptions.
Yeah. And what about Shewong? How does he feel about all of this? Does he buy into this whole cynical worldview?
Well, remember, he's dealing with his own stuff.
Right. Of course. He's got his own baggage.
His own way of seeing the world. So, yeah, Sawell's words, they resonate with him.
Yeah.
But they also trigger his anxieties,
Yeah.
He starts to question his own motivations, his purpose as a chronicler.
It's like he's having this existential crisis.
He is.
Right alongside humanity.
He is.
Wow.
And just when you think it can't get any weirder,
yeah,
Sawell drops another bombshell.
Don't leave me hanging. What is it?
He suggests that real, truly enlightened humans might actually exist.
Okay.
But on other planets.
Hold on. Did he just go full ancient aliens on us?
Pretty much.
Where's he getting this from?
Well, he argues that he's been watching the universe for eons, right?
Oh, okay.
He's seen stuff, evidence of advanced civilizations way beyond us.
So he's saying they're out there.
Out there. And he even hints that they might be visiting Earth.
Okay, now that's a lot, even for a talking sun.
It is.
So where does he go with that?
So we've got Sawell dropping these cosmic truth bombs,
right?
Talking about humanity's flaws, hinting at these super evolved beings out there in the universe.
It's a lot.
It's a lot for anyone to process, right?
Yeah.
Even a sun-worshipping eagle, I imagine.
Definitely. So what about Shewong,
right?
Our schizoid Wolverine, trying to make sense of all this,
right?
While also dealing with his own internal world.
It definitely throws him, but in a way, it kind of pushes him further down this path of questioning.
Okay.
He starts to see Sawell's cynicism not as a condemnation, but as a challenge,
Okay.
Like a call to see past our limitations.
To see beyond the Shinta.
Exactly, to embrace a bigger picture.
Okay, I like that.
And this is where Mayen Sasine comes back in. Remember her?
The she-wolf.
The she-wolf. Shewong's adoptive mother, kind of a mysterious figure.
We haven't talked about her much.
No, we haven't. But she's always there, lurking in the background of his life.
Okay.
And as Shewong's grappling with all of this, towards the end of the book, he has this really intense experience.
Intense how?
Like a mystical experience on top of a mountain, and guess who shows up?
Mayen Sasine?
Mayen Sasine. But she doesn't just offer comfort.
Okay.
She gives him this scroll.
What's on the scroll?
It's called The Prayer of Love to the Universe.
Okay.
This beautiful poetic thing, all about cosmic unity, how everything's connected.
Interesting, because that feels like the opposite of what Sawell's been saying.
Right. It's like Rivas Alborno is giving us both sides of the coin here.
So you've got Sawell with his cynicism, but then May and Cicine with this message of love.
Exactly. And it's up to Shewong and us as readers to figure out how to make sense of it all.
So where does that leave Shewong in the end?
That's the thing. We don't really get a neat answer. The ending is open.
Okay.
We see Shewong howling at the moon, and he seems at peace. But whether he buys into Sawell's cynicism completely or embraces May and Cicine's message, it's really up to us to decide.
So it's a story that makes you think even after you're done reading.
Exactly. What does it all mean?
Right.
What's the takeaway?
Yeah. What do we make of this whole journey?
For me, it's about accepting that we don't know everything.
Embracing the unknown.
Exactly. Acknowledging that our perception is limited and being open to the possibility of something more.
It's a good reminder that even when things are tough, even when we're faced with difficult realities, there's always room for wonder, for connection, for something bigger than ourselves.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Chronicles of a Schizoid Wolverine.
It's a book that stays with you.
It does. It makes you think, it makes you feel, it makes you question everything.
Absolutely. If you're looking for a book that will challenge you, this is it.
100%. Add it to your reading list. You won't regret it.